So today's Do Now is going to be a review of effusion that was talked about yesterday. So in the first question, it says a tank containing both HCl and HI develops a leak. What is the ratio of the rate of effusion of HCl to HI? So let's just go through this question together. So this question, we are looking at a tank that has both HCl and HI in it, and it develops a leak. So this question wants to know what the ratio is of the rate of effusion of HCl to HI. So Graham's law says that the rate of gas 1 over rate of gas 2 equals the square root of the inverse relationship of their molar masses. So if we want the ratio of HCl to HI, that means that we want the rate of HCl on the top, the rate of HI on the bottom, which means I'm going to have the molar mass of HI on the top, molar mass of HCl on the bottom. So the way I'm going to solve this is I'm going to find the molar mass of HI. So I'm going to do 1.008 plus 126.9. I'm going to get 127.908. And then I'm going to do the molar mass of HCl, and that is 36.458 grams per mole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 127.908 divided by 36.458, and then I'm going to take the square root of that. And I find that that is 1.87. Now what that means is essentially 1.87 over 1. So the rate, or the ratio, right, the ratio of the rate of effusion of HCl to HI is 1.87 to 1. So what that means is HCl moves 1.87 times faster than HI does. So if this tank up here, if it developed a leak, let's say the leak was down here in the corner, HCl would escape and effuse 1.87 times faster than HI, which makes sense because lighter gas molecules move faster. Now the second question of the Do Now says average kinetic energy is based on blank. Average kinetic energy is always based on absolute temperature. That means temperature in the Kelvin scale. Right, temperature in the Kelvin scale. So in class today, you'll be working on the following. So the first thing I want you guys to do is I want you to work with your groups on questions that review lecture 4 and 5. And the link to a Google form is in the calendar that I emailed you. You can work as a group, fill out one Google form per group, just make sure everybody's name goes in it. And once you submit the Google form, it will actually show you your answers and if they were correct, and it'll also give you some feedback. Now, if you have some questions, I put it at the very end of the Google form. If you have some questions on one of your answers, please send me an email. Don't worry, scores will go in when I get back, but just send me an email, but just make sure that you read the feedback. So once you finish the Google form with your groups, then I want you to work through the gases practice test. So you got this practice test already. I just want you to work through it. You can work with groups if you want, or you can work on it on your own. But it does have some directions up at the top about using a periodic table and trying to not use a calculator. So we're going to have to start looking at how to do some mental math because on the AP test, the multiple choice section, you don't get a calculator. So work through the practice test with your groups. Use your notes, videos, examples, anything like that. Once you go through the practice test, then feel free to work on mastering. Remember to use the in-class practice to help you on mastering. Then the very last thing is the gases review. Now this is actually what you can work on over the weekend, so I would suggest working on mastering over the weekend and the gases review. This gases review is like the test review. So between the practice test and the review, that's going to give you a really good idea for what you're going to see on the test. If you have any questions, again, feel free to email me, but also use all the resources and answer keys on the class website.